What is going on, everyone? Welcome back to TTP Sports. You got to be way better than that. You got to be way better than that, Phillies. You cannot start a homestand getting shut out like that by the San Diego Padres. After you blow, you have a day off yesterday and you blow the game on Sunday where you could have swept the Los Angeles Dodgers. You just can't start a homestand like that. Where Zack Eflin has a fantastic start. He was absolutely excellent today. Your bats just go insanely quiet and you play very sloppy defense. It's, in these close games where there's going to be a lot of close games in a schedule of 162 games, a lot of those games are going to be very close, low scoring or high scoring, whether or not 1-run games, 2-run games. Your defense, sometimes when you play bad defense, that's going to come back to bite you. And that's exactly what happened tonight. Padres got timely hits. Phillies defense helped them a little bit. And, they ruined the Zack Eflin outing. That was really good. Offense was just really quiet. They just looked confused and dazed all day long. Mike Clevenger for the Padres was dealing, though. He was pitching electric. He was, getting a lot of pitches there. He had a lot of nasty stuff out there as well. Phillies hitters couldn't time him up that much. Phillies only had very few hits in this ball game. They had 5 hits, even though it doesn't really feel like that, just because there were a couple of errors on the Padres side as well, especially from Manny Machado. So it kind of doesn't feel like they had 5 hits in this ball game. They just went down quietly. That's basically how the entire thing felt. I just don't know how. I don't know. I know when you go through that Dodgers series, you play 4 games, you're scoring 10 runs one night, 12 runs another night, 8 runs another night, 4 runs. Yeah, understandably, yeah, you're not going to be scoring 10 runs, 8 runs, 12 runs every single night. That's just not realistic. That's not sustainable whatsoever. Eventually, things do even out, and eventually, yes, you're going to go through a cold stretch. That's just it just kind of feels like when Harper gets taken out of the lineup, and it's very understandably why he's getting taken out of the lineup, because he's getting the injection in his elbow for the UCL tear, which is, I think when I read about it, it's supposed to speed up the healing process of the partially torn UCL. So that's basically the entire thing from that. So there's a chance that he can play tomorrow, but there's also a chance that he can miss tomorrow as well. So at this point, I think they need Bryce back in the lineup badly, because Bryce was just so good in Los Angeles. I don't know why it just feels like when he's getting taken out of the lineup, they kind of look like they lose their confidence a little bit. They lose their spark plug. I'm not sure if that's the reason why. That's just what I'm seeing right there. Because with the way Bryce was hitting in Los Angeles, where he's getting all these extra base hits, he's hitting all these home runs out of the ballpark, it just feels like they lost that edge in the lineup, to where if Bryce is going, everyone else is going. To where oh God, Bryce is not in the lineup. Okay, someone's really got to step up. Are they trying to do way too much? Or is it something like that? They just kind of lost their edge that they had in LA without Bryce in the lineup. And hopefully he is in the lineup tomorrow. It's basically a 50-50 chance at this point if he's going to play tomorrow, if he's going to miss tomorrow. He's most likely going to be playing on Thursday, but tomorrow is really just up in the air whether he's going to be playing tomorrow or not. And yeah, Bryce just does a lot for this team, as well, as they see from Mr. W right here. Yeah, Bryce is just with the way, since he can't play in the field, he's basically doing everything he can in the batter's box and some at this point, with how he's been hitting lately, getting NL Player of the Week. So, yeah, basically right there, I guess maybe they just lost their spark plug, and that's Bryce Harper. Hopefully that's something that, changes right now. Excuse me, real. Thought I had to sneeze. Sometimes when you have to sneeze, it goes away. But anyway, I digress on that statement. But still, it just kind of feels like Bryce, is that spark plug in the lineup. And it feels like since they took him out for the understandable reasons that they took him out for, it just feels like that they lost that edge right now. And hopefully when he does come back into the lineup, it's not guaranteed that he's going to destroy balls like he did in Los Angeles, just because he missed a couple of games. He's probably going to have to adjust now with the shot in his elbow. So you're going to basically go through that entire feeling process of how everything is going with the shot and how his elbow is feeling at that point. But at the end of the day, I'm still not worried about Harper, because he's been putting up MVP numbers for the past basically week and a half at this point. Ever since that blown lead against the Mets, his bat has basically been electric since then. So I'm not worried about Bryce whatsoever. I'm worried about the other guys in the lineup, basically. If I'm looking throughout this entire lineup right now, I would say I'm worried about Rhys Hoskins when he goes on his slumps. Alec Bohm, I'm not worried about because he's been one of the more consistent hitters on our ball club, and he's been getting on base very consistently. Kyle Schwarber, basically, he's what he's been this entire season. He's going to go on stretches where he's hitting the ball out of the ballpark consistently, and he's going to go on stretches where he's not hitting whatsoever. He's not a guy that's going to hit for a high average. He's going to hit in the low 200s to 250s, but I still feel like we haven't seen the best of Kyle Schwarber yet, and hopefully that's something that gets better. Nick Castellanos, he's still been one of the more consistent hitters in our lineup. He hasn't been hitting the past couple of days in Los Angeles, but still he gets 2 hits in today's ball game. But still, I'm not worried about Nick Castellanos at all. He's just a professional hitter at the plate. Gene Segura has been one of our best hitters as of late. 13-game hitting streak on his hands. Odubel Herrera is Odubel Herrera. He's going to have his spurts where he's basically hitting everything, and he's going to have his spurts where he's swinging at pitches that are between his legs. That's who Odubel Herrera is. JT Realmuto, though, he's something that's worrying me right now because he is really struggling at the plate. And I am not sure what is wrong with JT Realmuto right now at the plate. He just seems like he's not confident there, and I'm not sure what the reason is. I'm not sure why he's losing confidence. I'm not sure why he can't hit the ball. But JT also goes through his hot and cold streaks as well. But right now, I guess because when you look at the way the team played last week, with how everyone else was hitting and JT was struggling. JT's struggling was basically, the back take of everything just because of how everything else was going and the way the team was hitting the ball. But now when you have a couple of games where Sunday you score 4 runs, even though I'm not entirely blaming the offense on Sunday because that's a job where you have 2 outs in the bottom of the 9th inning, you have to win that ball game. That's just basically the bottom line of that entire scenario. But when you're scoring 1 run, 2 runs, 3 runs, JT is going to stand out a little bit if he continues to struggle. That's basically just what it is. And he's got to get better. He's got to be better. I would say I'm not worried about JT Realmuto, but right now he needs to prove to us that he can, wake that bat up. He does. Same thing with Schwarber. Same thing with another couple of guys in our lineup. Bryce and Stott still continuing to look like he's a little bit overmatched at the plate. He has some days where he's going up against really good pitching and he's finding a way to get those, hit those guys for. But when, he has those games and he's going to have these games where he looks completely overmatched at the plate and he kind of looks like he's trying to do a little too much there. He had a rough day in the field as well. So he's still adjusting to the major league level, it looks like, because you can't really send him down because when he got sent down earlier on a couple of weeks ago, he was dominating down in AAA. He was dominating. So it shows to go you that right now Bryson Stott's too good for the minor leagues, and he's still trying to find his way through the majors. He's trying to find his swing. He's basically trying to find that confidence. I'm excited for Bryson Stott, but right now he just needs to find a way to prove himself. And that's basically it, because who knows what's going to happen with, when Nitty comes back. You saw Bryson Stott get pinched hit for Johan Camargo later on in the ballgame, and Camargo's basically just giving Joe Girardi every possible reason to keep putting him in the line because, one, he plays good defense, and he's been, a decent hitter for us this year. Decent. Hasn't been fantastic, but he's been decent and timely. Roman Quinn, he sucks. Try to put a bunt down the third base line. You're trying to put a bunt down with Manny Machado at third base. Are you serious there? That's just not going to get anything going. It just really isn't. You just wasted a really good start from Zack Eflin today. That's what, kind of makes me more mad. Because Zack Eflin hasn't been the best to start this year. Then he gets COVID. He misses a couple of games. And he comes back and he has a really great start. Really great. Runs don't score for him, and his defense doesn't play the best either. It was basically a pitching duel between him and Clevenger. Clevenger does get taken out of the game, though, because he is on a pitch count, because he is recently coming off a Tommy John surgery. Then you get Mackenzie Gore into the game, and that's kind of a little unfair because you have a really young, up-and-coming starting pitcher that's coming out of the bullpen for the Padres. So, yeah, that's kind of a little bit unfair at the same time as well. But I'm not going to really complain about that because that's just, the Padres system, and they have a lot of good young starting pitching in that organization. Man, it would feel nice to have, even though we do have young guys like Abel and Painter down in the minors. Painter is completely dominating down in single A ball. So that's something that's really good down there. Hopefully they can run up the ranks really quickly so we can see them in big league ball eventually. But still, kind of a little bit unfair when you have one of your top pitching prospects coming out of the bullpen right now because they're trying to stretch him into being more of a starting pitcher in the majors. I would like that. A little bit unfair there. So basically, looking through this entire game, it was really just a bore fest because both teams early on just couldn't hit. Both pitchers were dominating. Both first innings, 1, 2, 3s for both teams. Some innings you get some guys on base, but then really nothing goes on. You really don't see anything start to happen until the top of the 5th inning for the Padres, to where you get a Will Myers. He singles through basically the wide open hole in the shift to right field, and then you get a bleeder by Robinson Cano, freaking Robinson Cano on the San Diego Padres, basically just being their DH. I'm not sure that's fun. I would laugh, but the man got 2 hits tonight, so I'm not gonna laugh yet. He singles, which moves Myers over the third, and that should be a ball because it was a bleeder, and Odubel Herrera not catching up to it, drops in front of him. That allows Will Myers to go over the third base. And then you get a situation where you possibly could have had an inning double play, but Bryson Stott drops the exchange from Gene Segura. It would have been a tough play regardless because it was a chopper and it was a tough play for Segura to get to. But Austin Nola hit it, and Austin Nola probably isn't the fastest runner out there. So maybe you could have had an inning double play, but sadly it doesn't turn into that case. Stott drops the exchange. It scores a run, becomes a 1-0 lead for the Padres, and that happens in that situation. Then you go into the top of the 6th inning to where stuff happens, but no runs score, thankfully. Got a Cronenworth single, and then you get, this was just, one of the weirdest plays in the game, because I believe this was the Cronenworth at bat. He pops it up to left field. You literally get 3 guys going after the ball. 3 guys: Roman Quinn, Kyle Schwarber, Bryce Stott. None of those guys call for the ball. None of them whatsoever. And it drops. It drops in between all of them. And then you see on the replay that Zack Eflin is pissed off that all 3 of them allowed that ball to drop. Just how do you let that happen? How in God's name do you let that happen? It's just unbelievable. And you saw the reaction from Zack Eflin in that situation. Like, come on. You gotta catch that. Someone's got to catch that. But thankfully, Zack Eflin managed to get out of that situation. Manny Machado singled eventually, which allowed Kim, even though there was a fielder's choice in that situation, Manny Machado gets a single, but then Zack Eflin gets out of the inning, no harm done. So still a 1-0 lead for the Padres. Phillies had their chances in some innings. They had some leadoff runners get on. 4th inning, Alec Boehm led off with a single. Nothing happens there. Then you go to, we go to the top of the 7th inning first, because the Phillies didn't manufacture anything the entire game, really. So you go to the top of the 7th for the Padres. Norwood comes out. Surprise, surprise. Leadoff walk, because, that's just what the Phillies bullpen has been doing recently. And then you get a Robinson Cano. This is just basically the icing on the cake for this game at this point. Robinson Cano would bleed around the left field. Kyle Schwarber should have been a routine play just to grab on the bounce. Misses it. Somehow misses it. Goes all the way behind him to the wall. Roman Quinn has to go get it. Scores. Will Myers makes it a 2-0 lead. Norwood gets an out, though. Brad Hand comes onto the plate. Leaves a hanging fastball right over the middle of the plate. Grisham doubles. Scores Cano. Makes it 3-0. Hand manages to get out of the inning, but issue is walks. Out of the bullpen specifically. The walks are a major issue from the bullpen. Major issue. Phillies get something to go on in the bottom of the 7th. Nick Castellanos reaches. They're counting it as an infield single, even though it was technically a throwing error from Manny Machado, and Eric Hosmer couldn't handle it. I'm not sure why they recorded that as a single, but it's a hit for Nick Castellanos. He'll take it every day of the week. Gene Segura singles to extend his hitting streak. Odubel Herrera pops up, and JT Realmuto grounds it to a fielder's choice. So 2 runners on in that situation. You do nothing. You do absolutely nothing. Nelson comes out in the top of the 8th, gets the job done there. Camargo, leadoff single in the bottom of the 8th, leading off, or pinch hitting for Bryce Stott. Nothing happens there but the leadoff guy. And specifically, there were a lot of at-bats in this game where there were so many pitches, specifically Mackenzie Gore, when he was out there for the Padres. He was leaving a lot of stuff hanging over the middle of the plate, and the Phillies were just fouling them off, just missing them. Kind of reminds me of, sometimes during the beginning of the season where there were pitches down the middle of the plate. Guys were just missing them. They were just fouling them off. Got to stop doing that. When there's a pitch that's hanging right over the middle of the plate, you got to destroy it. You got to put it in play. Hit it out of the ballpark, or find a way to get it through the infield, or get a hit somehow. Get a hit some way, somehow, when someone hangs one over the middle of the plate. Padres did that today. Padres did that today. Nothing really happens. Ninth inning goes down 1-2-3. So yeah, that's basically it for there. Really boring game. Really just nothing happening, really. That's a shutout. Basically what a shutout for you is. So you go basically to the box score. We got Rhys Hoskins, 0 for 4. Alec Boehm, 1 for 4. He was one of the better hitters in the box today. Kyle Schwarber, just a horrible night at the plate. Struck out 4 times, goes 0 for 4. Nick Castellanos goes 2 for 4. Gene Segura goes 1 for 4. Dubal Herrera goes 0 for 3. JT goes 0 for 3. Bryson Stott goes 0 for 2. And Camargo, pinch hitting, goes 1 for 1. Roman Quinn goes 0 for 3. Ugly all around. Ugly all around. Runners in scoring position, barely had any. Went 0 for 3. In terms of pitching, Zack Eflin was great. And it was basically just a ruined start once again. Phillies haven't won an Aaron Nola start basically since opening day. There's been a lot of those this year. There has been. There has been some really good starts this year where the Phillies don't win. Specifically in the Aaron Nola starts, but, there's been quite a few. Quite a few starts that have been really good from your starting pitching, and you don't win it for them. That's a problem. That's a major problem that has to be fixed now. You got to win these games when your pitchers are pitching good. Zack Eflin goes 6 innings, 5 hits allowed, 1 earned run, 5 strikeouts, 84 pitches. Solid. Very, very solid. Norwood, 2 runs technically charged to him because he allowed a couple of base runners to Cano, the leadoff walk to Will Myers. Brad Hand technically gave up the runs, but Norwood technically charged to him. He did give up the hit to Cano that Kyle Schwarber missed. So that basically happened there. Brad Hand got out of that situation. He allowed the hit to Grisham, but still, overall. Nick Nelson, solid in his 2 innings of work. It was just overall just an ugly game. Very, very ugly game. So if you're looking at the rest of this series, 2 more games left tomorrow and Wednesday. Still going to get tougher from here. So if you look at tomorrow's game, you're going to have Zach Wheeler on the mound going up against Blake Snell. Then you're going to have Kyle Gibson going up against Yu Darvish on Thursday afternoon. Oh boy. And then you look to the Dodgers series this weekend. Ranger Suarez, Aaron Nola, Zack Eflin. Rhys is going to be on the mound Friday, so you're going to be seeing him once again. He's definitely going to want payback for, mashing the ball against him in Los Angeles. Gonsolin's going to be on the mound Sunday for the Dodgers. They haven't announced who's going to be starting on Saturday for the Dodgers, going up against Aaron Nola. So basically going to have to wait and see for that. And then after this Dodgers weekend series, you're going to have a 4-game series next week in Atlanta against the Braves, and then you're going to have the 3-game set next weekend against the Mets. So yeah, the schedule doesn't get any easier from here. Sixers are done. There's nothing going on in Philadelphia right now. Phillies are the hot topic. Phillies are the main thing right now. The Sixers, Eagles, they're always going to be the hot topic because things that are being questioned about the offseason. Eagles are going to be talking about training camp. Phillies are the only live sport going on right now. Got to get fans into it. Got to get fans intrigued. Got to get fans believing in you. The road trip last week was a start. You got to build off that. You got to have a good homestand. I understand, yes, it's tough competition. It's not an excuse. You showcased what you could do last week on the road out west. Do it again. Have a really good homestand. Don't let this define you. Be more what you were last week. I know scoring 10, 12 runs a game is not going to be consistent. That's not going to happen. I'm not saying that. Go out there, win ball games. Go out there and compete. That's all I'm asking. W in the chat, I see him talking it up a little bit. Yeah, he's worried about JT Realmuto. Stott is the Scherzer destroyer. Just the Scherzer destroyer. Just an ugly game. And glad Gene Segura extended his streak. I'm glad when everyone does join up the chat. But I think this is going to do it for everyone here. I do see my Wi-Fi in the corner acting up a little bit. So this might be a perfect time to end off the thing. So what are your thoughts on this game? What are your thoughts on everything, everyone? Don't forget to leave your comments and opinions down in the comment section below. I'd like to see those as always. Do not forget to drop a like on this video. Do not forget to check out the Painted Lines, which I'm a part of. Their links are down in the description below. Also, don't forget to check out the links to BrodesMedia, the Flyer.pod merch website, and also Flyers Nitty Gritty. And also, the most important thing you can do is hit the subscribe button. I will greatly appreciate that. And also use the code TTPSPORTS for $20 off your first purchase at SeatGeek. And I will see you next time.